today's episode, we're joining Kelvin Cheong, an executive with over 13 years of experience in the retail industry. Kelvin is not only the founder of onlyBrown, a specialty retail e-commerce brand established in 2011, but also a passionate curator of luxury and artisanal brands, focusing on fine leather goods and accessories for discerning men across Singapore, Asia, and the US. But Kelvin's expertise goes beyond entrepreneurship. He's an advocate for customer user experience, and he firmly believes that every exceptional interaction starts with a genuine smile and a warm hello. And Kelvin's insatiable curiosity drives his constant pursuit of new ideas, making him an avid learner and an enthusiast in the realm of retail, entrepreneurship, marketing, and overall in business. So join us today as we dive into Kevin's wealth of knowledge and insights to the evolving landscape of customer experiences in the retail industry. I'm so happy to be joining in with you today, Kelvin. I have so many questions to ask you, and I just want to benefit from your experience
Likewise.
that you have
Thank you very
built
much
over the
for
years.
having me, Galia.
It's a pleasure. Kelvin, can you just take a little bit of time
Yep.
to tell us about yourself and highlight this beautiful experience that you have had for the past decade?
Well, I guess you stole my line. Yeah. Well, this is Kelvin coming from Sunny Island, Singapore. So I've been in e-commerce business since 2011. So it's pretty much a pure play e-commerce platform that specializes, like what Galia said, in leather goods for men as well as accessories. We actually progressed from e-commerce to omni-channel because at some point in time we have a physical store, but we closed it off after a couple of years, and then we are back purely online again. So this is where we are right now. Yeah, small little business that specializes in leather goods. Yes.
And apart from your business, you're very active on topics related to retail and to understanding the retail
Yes.
environment. Tell us a little bit about this. I don't want to use the term hobby because sometimes
Mm.
hobbies become our jobs, but your daily investigation into the retail environment.
Okay. Well, I guess I, I'm I would like to see myself as someone that is this very observant, or at least I try to, of what's happening around me, retail wise. So one of the outlet that allows me to do this is LinkedIn, because I try my best, since two years ago to post daily. Well, I mean, Saturday, Sunday is off days for me. No LinkedIn as much as possible. So I will share my views, my observation of what I see or what I hear, over the past week with my community of LinkedIn friends, like Galia and other retail professionals on LinkedIn. Yeah. So customer experience is something that is very close to my heart because, I mean, you and me, we are all consumers. I mean, the greatest pet peeve for me as a consumer is poor service. That's it. I mean, no matter how good is your product, I mean, if you do not have good customer experience, it's pointless. And likewise, you could have exceptional customer experience, but poor quality products doesn't cut it as well. So I guess we need to have that little balance. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. And there are different aspects of customer experience that I would like to discover with you today.
Yep.
But if we can start just with the basics, in your opinion, what
Yep.
defines a great customer experience in today's retail landscape and how it evolved over time? Because what we
Mm.
might consider as experience today and as a
Right.
standard today might not
Right.
be the same
Yep.
tomorrow or have been the same yesterday, right?
Correct. I mean, simply put, I mean, if we were to define what customer experience is basically any touch points that a shopper or the consumer gets, you know, to your brand. All right, and then well, I guess customer experience has evolved quite a bit over time. I mean, the good old days, I mean, all you have to do is to have a fantastic product, and shoppers will be flooding into your store to buy,
Yeah.
But right now, customer experience has evolved so much, okay? Partially because of number one, the type of products that you do, and the number of touch points that are available to shoppers. I mean, besides coming to your store, customers can shop online, and every touch point demands, I would say, synchronized customer experience. We do not expect to offer great service offline and then poor service online. Yeah, customers demand the same, if not better. Yeah, so I think it's evolved. I mean, using onlyBrown example, for instance, we have a curated range of products that they don't fly off the shelf because they are mainly artisanal. So it takes a lot more time to do a little bit of storytelling to the customer, in terms of who are the makers, their history, the type of leather being used, how they are made, and why they are made the way they are. So we need to envelop the customer into that whole tone, mood, and zone before you start asking, hey, Galia, would you like to buy? Would you like to pull the trigger and buy that product? Yeah,
Right.
not the other way around. It's like, oh, this is our latest product. Buy this. Yeah, I mean, those days are gone. Those days are
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Very
how.
interesting.
Yeah.
And today, with the rise of e-commerce, the physical store has proven itself to be very relevant and very important. And um, most importantly, at the level of advancing experiences and putting forward unique and engaging experiences. So,
Yeah.
storytelling is one of these experiences, right? But
Yeah.
what are the other things that you believe physical stores can offer to consumers that e-com does not have the possibility to?
All right. I think the only thing that comes to mind, physical store versus online store, I think the number one thing is uh, that human connection, being in that moment. This is something that e-commerce will never replace. Even if I were to do a face-to-face online, like a live streaming now, which is so popular in China, you will never go to the point where you meet face-to-face with a customer in store. So that's the beauty of having a physical store, and it's also a challenge being in a physical store.
Mm,
Yes, I mean, if done right, you can charm your shoppers. They will remember you. They will come back. They will talk about you. I mean, if you were to, well, for lack of a better word, if you screw up that face-to-face experience, I can guarantee, and that's the only time when you get a guarantee, is they will tell everyone else about that bad experience. Yeah,
right.
that no
Yes.
amount of advertising will actually buy you that. So I think that's the tricky part and the beauty of physical store.
Mm. Very interesting. And today, with these physical stores, we
Yes.
have rekindled the human connection and interaction with consumers. And then we said that still we need to get in touch of that digital sphere. Can you explain the concept today of phygital retail stores and how they are enhancing our overall customer experience?
Uh, okay, a mouthful. Okay. I would liken it to omni-channel, offline and online. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it's important to have that synchronized experience
Mhm.
for the customer, because right now the customer journey has changed, has evolved.
Yeah,
It's no longer from point A to point B. They can come from all direction at different point in time. So
right.
so the challenge for us retailers is how do we have that synchronized and consistent uh, customer experience, for shoppers.
Mhm.
Yes, we have to
Ho-
maintain that.
However, this is something that we speak of very often, like having the balance, choosing well the points of contact, so that the omnichannel experience is as balanced and as positive as we want it to be.
Yes.
However, to what extent, in your opinion, retailers are applying this? Are all omnichannel brands today delivering the kind of experience that is positive and hopefully connecting as they want it to be?
Um, well, to make a fair statement, I mean, there are brands or retailers who do it really well. You know,
Hmm.
but sadly, most of the time, let's talk about the Singapore market. Just to be fair, because I'm based in Singapore. Uh, Sad to say, I mean, many of the experiences that I have uh, may not be pleasant in store, in
Mm.
store, and at some point, I find that I'm better off doing my shopping online.
Well,
Yes, yes. And just to give you an example, I mean, all you have to do is to walk in the store, you know, and one of the the major problem that I have, or the pet peeve that I have, when entering store, it's greetings. It's so simple. I mean, if you see your friend, you say hello, Galia, you know. But strangely, when you enter the store, nobody acknowledges you.
mhm,
All right, even to the certain extent, a sales associate can walk past you,
mhm.
establish eye contact, and ignore you totally.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
I
quoting you
see
real
totally.
examples. Yes, I'm just short of doing a post on LinkedIn, because these are not statistics, but these are on the ground experience,
Yes.
both as a retailer and as a consumer. You know,
Mm.
you know, I always have this question: is why are they behaving the way they behave?
Yeah.
And then if you start reading reports, and of course in the market, because we know that we have a manpower crunch, so getting the right people is definitely a challenge. Salary, and of course training.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most retailers will their answer to this phenomenon, I said, is because of the high turnover.
Hmm.
Because of a high turnover, they do not see the need or the urgency
To
to train
train.
the staff.
Yes. To invest
I
in
I
training.
trained Kelvin for 1 month, and before I know, he leaves the company. So why bother? And
Mm-mm.
so it snowball. It becomes a bigger problem. So
Right.
all we have are human beings looking after a physical store. Period. And
Right.
that is not shopping experience, and this is not customer experience. That's zero.
And Calvin, if I might, within this of the radar research
Yes.
that you have been doing, did you notice this challenging situation with high end and low end brands alike? Have you also noticed? And I don't know, I would like to also see if this applies to Asia as it's applying to Europe, because I have also noticed that when approaching some high-end brands, I don't want
Yeah.
to use the term luxury, I'm saying like
Yeah.
high-end brands, I feel that even there's a judgment on consumers, and sometimes we don't feel like saying hi or hello because we don't like how our consumer looks like, or maybe we might directly judge that he or she is not a paying consumer and just we don't want to give that service, and vice versa in low end retail or fast moving consumer goods. We see that it's like you said, a turnover, like the sales assistant doesn't want to invest in his or her time. Like,
Yeah.
do you see these discrepancies over your market as well?
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah, the kind of experience that I'm sharing with you, or I've just shared, it's not um, you know um, that doesn't just happen to mass label brands. It also happens to luxury brands. I mean,
Yeah.
without quoting names, I mean, you can enter any of their luxury brands, like you said, they start to judge,
Hmm.
and when they start to judge, a couple of things goes inside the mind. It's like you said, is he or she a buying customer, or is he just just browsing? Okay. In fact, I'd like to share with you something that I read online. I'm not too sure how valid that report is, because a lady working in the retail industry in the luxury brand. Um, this is what she shared online. The manager actually teaches her how to judge a customer. And in a
Wow.
number of questions, that goes your head, if this customer do not meet this 2 to 3 checklists, you can write her off completely. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it becomes very transactional. In a
Mm.
nutshell, that little article that I read is, it becomes very transactional. That means the moment they come in, I can almost zero in whether Gala is it's a buying customer for my $10,000 bags. If it doesn't check these 3 boxes, I'm so sorry. Feel free to look around and feel free to leave.
Yeah.
Yes, it is that transactional.
Yes.
So I think at some point, um, I think luxury retailers have to redefine luxury altogether, because in the good old days, luxury brands are meant for the rich and the famous. But right now, people who buy luxury could easily be your nieces and nephews, who are the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are not necessarily rich and famous, but they have the disposable income to buy your product.
Right.
Yeah, so if luxury brands continue to think along that line, I think they'll be missing a
They're
lot.
losing a lot. Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. When they start to judge, they say, "Oh, what can a young kid buy 10,000? You must be kidding." Yes. So that's what I think.
Interesting. Thank you for that. And I think that this evokes some negative experiences from your end. But could you think of some successful examples of retail experiences? And maybe I believe around the corner you have lots of e- experiential, ephemeral, multisensorial types of stores that are standing out today on the market. Do you have any examples to share with us with regards to these experiences?
Are you referring to
Pop-up
online?
stores, offline, like maybe pop-up stores or brand activations through external installations or other brand installations, brand events.
Oh wow. Okay, let me jog my memory.
It could come later. We can come
Yeah.
back later to that
The
to that
reason why I
question.
said that is because you mentioned pop up, right?
Yes,
I think pop up, in China especially, I would say lately, at least for the last 6 months to a year, I'm seeing a lot of fantastic brand activations in China. Whether it's
right.
whether it's a premium brand, luxury brand, whatever. I mean, the way they do their pop up is like, wow. Yeah.
Right.
And just off the cuff, if you ask me, experiential, uh, I think the last one that I could remember was AMS in Singapore.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think they brought that orange newsstand
The kiosk, right.
kiosk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have brand activation, similar brand activation in Paris as well. So they have it right smack at Marina Bay Sands
Hmm.
in Singapore. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of the colors, the impact that it creates, not product pushing. I thought to me that was quite refreshing, because most of the pop-up store, the, uh, the the concept that a lot of brands have is pop up, fill our shelf with products and hopefully make some sales from that pop up. Yeah, that kind of idea. So not so, but what I could share offline is, can I share an offline experience?
Yeah, of course.
Not too much of a retailer per se, because Spotify,
Hmm.
sorry, not Spotify, Shopify, I beg your pardon.
Shopify. Okay.
Shopify. The reason why I say that, because our website is hosted on Shopify, and I've been using them for many years now, close to 10. And I must say that the customer experience that I have with them is perfect.
Hmm.
Why? Is because whenever I need support online, they are there 24/7. That's number one. Okay, the speed of response is number one. And number two, the staff are knowledgeable and they are empowered to make changes. So whatever
Nice.
problem that I have, I only need to speak to Galia, one person, that's it. If they cannot resolve my problem, they'll follow up with, with the contact log that we have logged in, and then they come back with some resolution. And based on my experience for the last couple of years, problems are usually resolved at the first instance. So I think
Interesting.
from a customer experience point of view, that is very important. The speed
Of
of
course, the
response.
speed, right, and not being held from one hand to the other, and getting lost internally for someone to get back to you on a
Correct.
solution. Right.
Just to share with you, because even for our own brand, we have our customer reviews shared online with the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the customers. The importance of social proof. So we have all our reviews. We had a look at all the reviews, and I would say 80-90% of the reviews are related to services more
Okay.
than the product. So it shows how important, how much value customers put, into the kind of service that they receive, the experience they receive. I mean, of course, having a good product is one thing. They will talk about good product, but it's always about service. How fast they come back to us, and if the product is not available, what are the kind of recommendation that the brand gives. What options do they give, and if not, what other resolutions are there, and even after the sale is done, the kind of follow up that
Yeah.
we provide to make sure that the parcel arrive on time, they're in
Mm.
perfect condition, and if they are not, what happens. So
Right.
it's that whole experience from A to Z.
Mm.
Correct.
Mm-mm. Very interesting. And now merging merging these two worlds, online and offline, and integrating social media around it in that omni-channel context led us also to leveraging mixed reality technologies such as augmented reality and virtual reality. Do you have also any comments related to integrating those realities to have an immersive shopping experience? And maybe with your latest retail tours, have you ever encountered any brand integrating AR and VR into its concept?
Um, Brands integrating AR, VR. Well, I think the one closest to heart could be, let me get this brand right. IKEA.
Hmm.
IKEA. IKEA. I think they have an app that has the AR. I like playing with that for information. I mean, that's the closest that you can get, knowing whether that sofa or that king size bed fits
Will
into your
fit.
room, your living room.
Exactly.
It's simple,
Yeah.
but it's fun. And
Mm.
I think probably the other one would be, I think Lego. Lego is another one. Yeah, the usual brands, but I think IKEA. Yeah, I like IKEA. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think
simple things
that
like.
at some point, if I'm not mistaken, Amazon has integrated this feature with some of its products, such as the sofas or some furniture, using the same kind of technology that allows you to also
Visualize.
envision and visualize the product into your living room, bedroom, or so on and so forth. So in that omni-channel context,
Yes.
we repeat, I think, the idea of having many touch points. And the first thing that we evoked is having a consistent and balanced experience across these touch points. But we also today have an important variable in retail, which is personalization, or tailoring to customer preferences throughout these touch points. Do you think that it's important to personalize experiences of customers within each touch point of the brand?
Um, yeah, personalization is a big word these days.
Mm,
Whether is it for mass label brands or luxury brands. I think, um, as consumers, we always like to have the option to do things. You know, uh, you can have a simple wallet, but you want to personalize it, customize it in different letters, have it monogram, whatever. And even when it comes to touch points, you would like to have more options, because having more options to me is in a way personalizing your own
Mm-hmm.
experience. You know, um, one person might enjoy, going online to make a purchase, but I like to go on Instagram, and if I see something that I love on that brand's Instagram profile, I wouldn't want to leave that channel. I just want to PM, we call it PM, the private message, the brand, and
Yes.
ask about the product availability and whatnot. Yeah. So this is I think the trend that I'm seeing for my own business as well. Because being a pure play online, the only face that we have with the customer is actually our website.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I mean, now with so many options, social media platform, your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, whatever, we see customers coming in from social media channels, even messaging channels like WhatsApp.
Yeah.
We actually close orders on WhatsApp and Instagram more than a website sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
Because customers feel comfortable chatting with you and having this direct contact as if it's someone who's advising them, who's closer to them, and it's more human to them, right?
correct. That's one of the reason. Like I think the more important reason is like I shared earlier is because the user doesn't want to leave that platform.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if I'm on WhatsApp chatting with a friend, and all of a sudden I'm reminded that I need to get a birthday gift, and I say, oh, okay, Only Brown has a range of nice products. Let me WhatsApp them and let's see what they have. That are there any wallets or leather goods that they can get to me in 2 days' time? I'll do a WhatsApp to the brand.
Okay.
Or likewise, if I'm on Instagram, say, I need a bag. Okay, let's message that brand and let's see what they have. I wouldn't want to leave Instagram, open my laptop, go to the website. If I have a question, drop an email, and if they are not responding, go Instagram, go WhatsApp. Customers are not
We
going to
don't want the hassle, right? Yes.
no. So we try to make it frictionless,
Mm-hmm.
smooth as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what retailers.
Very interesting, really interesting, and the way you put it is even more relevant because today we speak a lot about these chatting devices to simplify or to decomplexify the customer experience. That now that you put it that way, it's even like more relevant because customers would even go into a description of something that they would like to have, and it would be up to the brand's assistants or personnel to do that research and provide them with what they would like eventually or satisfies their need. But on
Yeah,
the other hand, if chatting is something that we are relying on more and more, there was another variable that was really important and still is in retail, which is data.
yeah.
In your opinion, to what extent data is important today in retail to create these, hopefully, again, positive experiences that we aim for?
But I guess when it comes to data, I think the word that comes to mind is trust.
Mhm.
Trust. Yeah, because honestly, I mean, as consumers, I think the only problem that we have with data is how our brands and retailers and whoever is getting hold of our data are treating our data. How secure or or confidential are they?
Mhm.
Yeah. So the kind of webs, the secure system, that you have, the SSL behind, your web store, your website, and how you treat data. Um, how should I put it? It's that trust. I think going beyond solid data. I think it needs time to build. It needs time to build. Yeah, and then to get around this whole trust thing, I think reviews are important.
Mhm.
I think as brands and retailers, I mean, to tell your customers that we are safe or you are safe to shop with us is not good enough.
Yeah, you need to
How do
have a
you
certain
show that it's
proof.
safe? Correct. So like I mentioned, reviews it's one way. as a kind of social proof, and almost like a guarantee, almost, that since the rest of the hundreds and thousands of people are saying good things about that brand, chances are they have good experience.
Yeah.
And so naturally, the issue that I have with data falls back.
Right.
It's no longer at the top of my concern. Yeah.
Right.
So it's quicker for customers to be immersed in that shopping experience already. Yeah. So
Interesting.
I think reviews, yes, is one way that we can do tangibly, I would say, to convince customer that you're safe. Your data is safe with me. You're safe to shop with me online.
And on the other hand, in the case of your brand, have you also taken the time to analyze data about consumer purchases, the frequency of purchase, the type of purchase, etc.? And does this study or result give you also the opportunity to improve or think about enhancing product integrations or services that you might have missed at the beginning?
Definitely. I think the advantage of online store is that to start with, we already have a tool to gather data. So it will be quite I would say unclever not to use the data. So platforms like Shopify, for instance, they have the usual reports,
Yeah.
for retailers, so we can crunch the numbers and see what makes sense. I mean, if you tell me what tools that we have integrated, I would say simple things like generative AI, like a simple chatbot. When we first started up website, we didn't use a chatbot.
Yeah.
It's mainly through emails, messaging services. But going forward, I think it makes sense to use a simple tool like chatbot, to take care of frequently asked questions like operating hours, and all the standard questions. Yeah, to minimize downtime or waiting time for customers. So I would say in retrospect, that's one of the simplest tools that we implemented on our web store in terms of AI and chatbot. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do customers use it often, or do you think that they still prefer channels that are more interactive, such as the chats or on WhatsApp or Instagram? Because consumers are schizophrenic in some way. They
Yes,
want the information to be there, but not always confident to use it, or would prefer to
correct.
use another, right?
You know what I'm going to tell you is, I think it's going to sound crazy, but honestly, I hate chatbots. I hate chatbots. Just for the, I mean, the world exists because we humans need to interact. But guess what? Now we need to interact with Kelvin, the chatbot. It's hardly a human, no flesh and blood. I mean, don't get me wrong. Chatbot has its purpose. If you're gonna ask simple questions like operating hours, do you have the product in this color, that size? I think chatbot is good enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you want to go beyond that, and then it's going to be tricky.
Right.
It's like in banking. You know, if I were to lose my card and I'm stranded up in the mountains, you know, if I were to log into a bank's website and say I lost my card, say, oh, if you lose your card, please, drop us an email, to retrieve card. I mean, how on earth am I going to do that? I mean, I'm stranded on a mountain. I lost my card. I lost my wallet. That kind of thing. But that's when you would appreciate speaking to a human being.
Right. Yes.
Someone who's empathetic. Say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe I get you a helicopter to, to save you from the predicament. Yeah. So yeah, in that sense.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I think the last question would be that
Already? Last
related
question?
to.
Already?
I ask too much, I think, but we can always develop the conversation further. But I would like to ask you about the growing demand for sustainability.
Oh,
In your opinion, how can retailers integrate today this eco-friendly practice into their customer experience process?
okay. Sustainability, it's a big thing. It's a hot topic. I mean, without going big on this topic with my answer, I would think that as a retailer, we can start as small as, the kind of the packaging materials that we use, for instance.
Mm.
Use less plastic, more paper, for instance. That's one. And if you to talk about my business, for instance, I'm in the leather business. So leather in itself, it's a sustainable material, a very
Mm.
durable material. So I always advocate the use of leather and leather only. Yeah, um, not other synthetic leather or vegan leather whatsoever, because leather is just leather.
Mm.
Not. Yeah. So in a sense, the choice of materials, and of course, when it comes to logistics, you know, we try to minimize. Like
Yeah.
for instance, our business, we have pivoted recently. We do a lot more on demand. In other words, we don't stock too many inventory, because the typical retail model for us is like, if you do wholesale, you buy and you stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you stock, you sell, good for you. But whatever you stock that doesn't move, it's not very sustainable.
Right.
It become a waste.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't go will end up in the landfill. So in that sense, it's not very sustainable too. So by going on like an on-demand kind of a business model, so we're doing a little part for planet Earth. So we're not going to go big that we're going to do this good and for fear of greenwashing, of course. But yeah, so yeah, there are little things that we retailers can do to play a part.
Okay, so you're very moderate in the way you're thinking of sustainability, because you're saying we cannot be all the way sustainable. We have to be reasonable, and we have to choose the ways and the channels which help us be more sustainable and still operate the brand in the best way it can, right?
Correct.
So I have still some like questions that I'm curious about, if you're up for it.
Sure. Shit.
Perfect. So, in an era of instant gratifications where customers want like things instantly, how are retailers adapting their strategies to meet these customers' evolving expectations and convenience for speed?
Well, I mean, convenience is something that consumers always wanted, like you and me.
Mm.
But to have convenience, like for example, if you order something and you want it in 2 hours' time, well, at some point, it became a competitive advantage for certain brands. I mean, without quoting brands, the names. But I think retailers have to ask ourselves, because customers with, this kind of expectation, like, I want a product, I buy online and I expect it to be at my door in 2 hours' time. I mean, that kind of expectation are actually being groomed by retailers. So
Mhm.
retailers have themselves to blame for leaving at
A
that standard,
gap.
because we raised the bar so
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
that we can't even see ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're struggling. So I think the thing going forward, I think the challenge right now is pretty much like discounts. We have to start letting consumers know what is a reasonable time, delivery time, for example, or waiting time to wait. Like for example, like our products, typically it takes about 1 to 2 weeks. We can do it faster if we want to, but we are not. And
Mhm.
most of the customers are not complaining. I say most.
Yeah.
Most. There will
Yeah.
always be a small group of people who want that instant gratification. It's like, even if they buy online, I want it at my doorstep in an hour's time. White glove, that's even better. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think in a way, uh, customers' high expectations are trained by retailers.
Mhm.
Just like discounts, customers don't buy full price. They only buy when you have a discount. And
Yeah.
why is that? Because retailers train them to be like that.
Right.
I mean, we
We've
are guilty too.
educated them.
I mean, if I could, I mean, I would buy something at at a lower price. I mean, who doesn't want a good buy, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes.
Mm. Interesting. And if I might, another hot topic, it was maybe a hot topic a couple of years ago, but still is today. What are some innovative ways retailers are using, such as gamification, to drive customers' loyalty? In your opinion, are there like specific gamification ways, tools, or activations that retailers are doing or should be doing?
Okay, lately I've been posting quite a bit about store hoardings. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if you've seen my post. You know, take Singapore for instance, in our local market. Before a store opens, of course you will have that brand hoarding spread outside the store, and it's kind of uninteresting because all you see is, oh, brand A coming soon this summer, launching soon. But lately I've seen um, brands getting a bit creative in building that anticipation before the store
Like the
opens.
sneak peek post that you post this morning. Yeah, I saw
I,
it.
I, I have a little fan here. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about. You see, it's no
Mm,
big deal. It's really cost effective. I mean, how much does it cost for you to die cut a hole and have someone do a simple, colorful illustration, you
yeah.
know, with an arrow pointing that says, take a peek. I actually stood outside the store for a couple of minutes just to observe, am I the only idiot? I mean, sorry, am I the only passerby that is intrigued by that little hole? I actually, you know, went to take a peek what's inside. I mean, of course, it's a mess because they're still building, constructing and renovating and all. I actually see uh, curious passerby stopping and then taking a peek inside. You see, these are very cost-effective ways, but only if retailers are willing to go the extra mile to do that a little bit more to create the kind of anticipation before the store opens. Because after all, it's all part of branding too and the customer experience. I mean, if I can wax lyrically about that cafe even before it opens and telling you and telling my friends all over the world, I think they've won half the game already, even before the store opens. And
Right.
each time the similar cafe opens a store, I know they're going to do something fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
So
it's it's injecting or re-injecting this sense of life into the store, and even with the simplest things. Sometimes observing the most um, concepts actually that that hit us, or to which we pay attention to, I am having the impression that they are using the simplest and easiest ways
you're
to
right, Gala.
attract our attention. And at times we were inclined to say, like, if we are not hyper digitalized or using the latest technologies, we will not be attracting customers. But actually, sometimes retail is using like many traditional aspects which still are very effective and drawing in customers or capturing their attention,
I guess
right?
you're right. You're right. It's
Yeah.
about going back to basics. I mean, I have business associates, friends asking me, how can you stay so passionate, you know, sharing your stuff with customers?
Mhm.
I told them it's just old school techniques, being sincere about that whole interaction that you have with the customer is all we need. I know it
Yeah.
sounds a little bit cliche, but this is it. I mean, if you come in store and I genuinely want to tell you the story about my brand, the story behind the products, and that's it. And hopefully it strikes a chord and you pull the trigger and buy something.
Yeah.
You see, and the other
Yeah.
and earlier on, I didn't want to bring in any, I mean the fantastic hoardings that the luxury brands are doing because before you know it, someone said, of course, I mean the luxury brands have all the bullets and all the money to do all the fancy hoardings, but we're just a small business, and that's the reason why I wanted to share that the business about the cafe, the hoarding about the cafe. They are not a multi-million business. They are just a specialty coffee brand
Mhm.
doing what they love and just being
Mhm.
creative. You can still
Right.
achieve that effect, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah. And to conclude, like my last question
Oh,
today,
finally.
It has been tough, I know. But looking ahead, what trends do you anticipate will the future shape? And what customer experiences will be looking at in the future, in your opinion, of course?
Uh, I think as much as I'm in e-commerce, I think physical retail is here to stay.
Mm,
Physical retail is definitely not dead. Okay, as much as the big brands say that e-commerce are killing the department stores. No, no, it's not e-commerce that's killing department stores. It's
yeah,
brands that are not relevant that are killing themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think the trend will be physical store and the kind of experience that you can provide in store. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting. As simple as it might be, I think that retailers have to take the time to reassess what they are doing today and to see if there are things that should be just left behind. They should concentrate on the essence, on things that are relevant to their brand,
correct.
and simplify to the maximum their models and their concepts so that they make sense to consumers.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Yes.
Kelvin, before concluding, would you like to add any other things or share any other information with us today?
Well, I guess I'm a little bit brain drained now after the grilling. My God, I'll just be kind and not add anymore. Yeah. So, well, I mean, jokes aside, I think when it comes to retail, be authentic, really, and keep, like you said, keep things simple. Actually, retail is not as complicated or sophisticated as we think it is, or at least we like it to. So, keep things simple.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think that your consumers, your customers will feel it. Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you so much,
pleasure.
Kelvin, for your time, for sharing all of these beautiful stories with me. And I hope that we can catch up either on your end or on my end of the continent to explore together retail formats. Thank
No
you
problem.
so much for your time
No problem.
and for sharing all of this.
Thanks, Galia.